I called a meeting to order at 10:03 a.m. So we move to approving the minute. Did we have a minute last night?
Did anybody get minutes? Stephanie was going to type them. Okay, so you'll have to skip over that and you'll just have to do them two. We'll have to do two at the next meeting. So we have no minutes.
All right.
Do
Constitution
you have someone
Committee.
taking your notes now?
We're recording and then Stephanie will write the minutes after.
Constitution Committee. We didn't have anything to report, right? Right?
Nope.
And Ways and Means Committee. Stephanie? No.
Yeah,
Chloe.
I think that'd be me now.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything. I haven't heard anything.
Yep.
Student trustee.
Yo, that's me. So it's gonna be a little bit more complicated this week. I wasn't able to attend due to scheduling issues. But I did, and I also had issues finding, because apparently I'm like the first person breaking ground here, first person to go to the website and look at old past trustee meetings. And so I had trouble accessing them. So I sent them emails to get them later back on. But for now, I did do the research that I could. I went through the notes and all this other stuff. So that would be the main source of this information I'm about to give out. If you need more, I'm going to get more. So if you need more, you can message me. But for now, I'll go over what I do have. So a big part of this is a guest they brought on. They brought on Lee Ann Scales, and her main purpose was to give a legal standpoint to the direction of the college and goals of the college. Two main factors of this was the Build Back Better Act that's going to be passed by, not going to be passed, but it's being proposed by Democrats in the House, and a determination to reauthorize the Higher Education Act. So quickly go through, because there's a big block. I swear to God, I'm not going to make this a PowerPoint. But the short end of it is it's going to fund key community college priorities, including a reconciliation bill and a bunch of other stuff that's going to help students, actually attend school. This includes stuff like the DREAM Act to allow illegal immigrants' children to have a path towards citizenship and be them entitled to Article 14, which is like student-funded aid, which would be amazing. I'm surprised every time this is brought up that it's not already a feature in. Anyway, going forward, it's also going to advance to community college job training jobs program. We already have handshakers. They really want to beef that up and have a more direct line between training and then going into the workforce. There's going a huge focus towards student success and access. They're looking to boost the Pell Grant under this bill to nearly double by the end. So they're slowly going to build it up. The goal end point is to have it be double to what it is. I think you can imagine the benefits that would provide to a lot of students having nearly access to a lot of funds. Candace, do you want to add?
I was just going to say, you all are, if you're over the age of 18, you're constituents. So you need to make sure that you're calling your representatives and senators to push this through. You have the power to get this done. They want to hear from you. I'm sorry, I'm preaching. They want to hear from you. And I think you all are an untapped voting block. Like, if you guys want this stuff to go through, tell your friends to call their legislators. They want to hear from you. In my other life, this is what I do. I lobby for stuff and they want to hear your stories. So I'm sorry, Cody. I didn't mean to. I get excited with this stuff because you guys can get it. You can move this. It's not it. I'm sorry. I'm so shut up.
No, if anything, you saved me having to do the preaching at the end of this little spiel here. But yeah, we are literally the demographic that Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton proposed to all those years ago. We are like the prime candidate and the needle mover for a lot of these policies. So if you have like 5-10 minutes, like Candace says, just call them up and be like, hey, do you know that Build Back Better Act is being pushed forward? I like a lot of the stuff that's in there. And usually just saying that is enough. you'd be surprised how few people actually call. So even just one call, 5 calls can usually have something that's not even on the table in conversation where it wasn't before. Sorry, also on the tangent there, but quickly going through the Better Back Data Act to actually get on track here. It's on top of student success in the Pell Grant. They're going to beef up resource institutions. So that's programs like that's targeted towards those who have been previously neglected. We're talking about like minority serving institutions, traditionally Black institutions and colleges that have been denied funding in the past for imagined reasons, and underrepresented populations, including like tribal colleges. So it's going to cover a vast swath of people who were originally previously being ignored or pretty close to it. They're also having a huge focus on bolstering job training, which means kind of building off what I was talking about, like the handshakers and having that pipeline between college into actual jobs. That's going to be a huge thing going forward, especially with this act if it gets passed. Excuse me. The other big part of this one is the Reauthorized Education Act. What they want to do is have long-term free tuition. So this is like in the future, but this is on the ballot that they're trying to push forward, is long-term free tuition. A lot of the problems that we're talking about today, or you heard me talk about, any other people on YouTube or wherever you get your information from, is the cost of education. Having it be free solves a lot of that. Doesn't complete it, but it helps a ton in that front. They want, in the meantime, do supporting Pell Grants, increase those programs that allow people to transition in, generally more funding, and just invest in basic supports. So like daycare, SNAP benefits. They really want to talk around, huge acronym, I'm not going to say it, but C Campus, which is just allowing mothers and fathers to bring their child onto campus. And that's a huge focus to free up that time equity. Housing, transport, childcare, like I said before, and literally a thing I didn't even know until going over these documents is that the taxation of the Pell Grant. Did you guys know if you're under Pell, any unused revenue from that, because they do give you a little bit more money than that portion is then taxed. So then the government takes back some of that money that they handed you to support you in your school thing. So if you're actively being punished for not using that money or using it effectively and having left over. So if you have stuff like transportation or other things that they're not accounting for, you're losing money there. So a lot of stuff legalized. Again, talk to me if you need to, but that was the main driving force of the initial half of that. The last bit, the actual meeting that I didn't, so my information is a little scarce on this. I'm going to catch up myself on it, but huge things for the college. Approval of fee increases. If you actually read your terms when you applied for the college, a lot of that tuition fee goes to stuff like Kathy's program, which is going to be brought up a little bit later. That just automatically gets taken out and given to these institutions in the college. One of those is the technology fee, and that's going to be increased to a flat $100 across the board. So it's not that big, but over a term of a lot of students, it is a significant chunk of change. And the college fee per credit hour is doing not a significant, but a percentage-wise, a decent jump up from $187 to $200. So that's going to be more on there. I'm not sure how that money's going to be divvied up or what the reasoning for that. Again, sorry for missing the meeting, but that's the plan going forward. And they're just switching health insurance. You don't need to hear about that. Yeah, that's the long, short end of it.
Right. Go ahead.
So, Cody, I'm that nerd that goes to all the trustees meetings, and when they talk money, I take really good notes. The reason the fee is going up for students is that right now the college is being held up a little bit by federal money, and as that federal money starts going away, because enrollment's down. So as that federal money starts going away, there's going to be a bigger gap. So they figured that they would start increasing the fees a little bit by a little bit. So when, if you come in 3 years, there's not a $50, $60 fee increase. It's just gradual because right now, because of COVID, enrollments are down. So the college is supplementing lost revenue from federal funds. So they decided to give a little increase here. There may be a little increase next year. I don't know for sure. So it's not $30 out of your pocket. It's $3, and then it's 3 more, and then it's 3 more for those people in the future. The other thing is they bought a building. They've been authorized to buy a building. And that's may affect students as well as faculty. That's why I sort of brought that up. I'm sorry, I'm all in the business and it's not even my meeting. I'm gonna be quiet, but that's stuff that's gonna affect all of us at some point.
But before you shut up, Candace, I need you to I need you to talk again.
Okay.
This is I don't want to split hairs. I'm not trying to like get to a point here. I just want like clarification. Is the fee increases understandable? But it was a discussion about if they would be dropped back down, if tuition were to pick back up again and things would be more normalized, or is this like a Netflix thing where this is going to be how it's going to go forward?
So if you think about it, Cody, nothing is less expensive, in the future. Like you're what I was paying for use Netflix. I was paying like $10 or $9 at one point for Netflix. Now I'm paying $20, and I actually don't get the disc shipped to me anymore. So it is what the best thing that can happen, Cody, is it's frozen. It doesn't go up. It's probably never going to go back, but it just might stay. And this is me, my almost 20 years here. And Kathy, if I'm wrong, correct me. It's probably not going to go up, but it's not going to go back, in the sense that everything costs more as you start getting older. That's not the right word. As the world starts getting older, things cost more, right? So they've done tuition freezes in the past. They've done the state has actually done fee freezes where they're like, I don't care what you say, colleges, we're not going to let you raise the fees because of yada, yada, yada. So I don't think it'll ever go back, but it might not go up anymore. That's just my opinion. Kathy, you may have other insight.
So no, I think what Candace has said is true. I will tell you the fee increase for the student activities fee. We're looking to make it so that student IDs are free, that you don't pay out of pocket for them. And that's the reason for that fee increase that we requested. Because we've noticed that it's been a hardship for students that say, I don't have $10 to get student ID. But I really could use it to get the discount on the bus or to get this discount or that discount. So that's the reason the student activity fee is increasing. And I think Jen had a question.
Cody, can I have some of that information?
You
I love irritating people. Oh, sorry, I don't mean irritating. I mean get my point across and make phone calls. So if there's something that I can help with, I am game.
I think in my time on the SGA, this is the little breaking ground here. First time I've been asked for additional information. So I'm going to put my excited hands down and just say, give me your email and I'll mail it to you.
Okay. You want me to give it to you right now?
Yeah.
Okay. JGARIEPY1 at MWCC.
Hold on. Is the chat blocked off? Because it's an official meeting?
No, it is.
It is. I can only message you, Kathy.
Oh, you know what? Let me, I don't know if I can change that.
So Cody, it's easy. See my last name?
Hold on. I need.
If
So
you look
you
at my
can
last
actually-
name on my box,
Yeah.
it's literally just J, my last name, and the number 1. So J Garrity 1.
You're the only Garrity?
No, I
Jay
think let's-
Garrity.
Yeah.
She was the first Jay Garrity, or the second technically, because the
Yeah, I was
first
gonna say
one had
because
no
the
number.
first one doesn't have a number.
Right. So, but you could have actually gotten that off of involvement, Cody, because she's in the student government roster on involvement.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I just want to, ADHD and me, and you were talking and I was like, this is interesting stuff, but my brain kept going so later. So it's just, I'm good.
Look,
I just would like some more to read.
And when you do your transition back into the fold, you're gonna have some new opportunities to bring up for us.
Mhm.
All right. So now we're moving on to Student Advisory Council, Cody and Steph. Cody.
All right. So we hold on a second. I have to actually have my notes here. So we had our last meeting on the 27th. I'm pretty sure we're done for the semester now. I think we just wrapped everything up. We just had a huge get together on that meeting. So a lot of that stuff was covered in the last meeting. If anyone needs a refresher, I'm here, but I think this generally, we were talking about Community Building Day on April 6th, and that kind of coalesced with our SGA week coming up in March. So yeah.
All right. Student body liaison, Chloe.
I have nothing to report.
Academic Senate. Stephanie is not here today, so I don't know. Kathy, do we move on or what?
Yeah, if she's not here, then yeah, you can skip over that.
Student Success Committee.
I think that was you, Ernest.
Yeah. I don't have anything to report. Academic Environmental and Technology Committee, Cody.
There's nothing important. I haven't heard anything in like over 3 weeks from them. I'll let you guys know.
All College Forum.
So that would have been me, but unfortunately, I also missed that one. A little bit of a theme here. I have a really good excuse if you guys want to stick around and hear it afterwards. But Kathy, I think you were able to attend that meeting, so.
I was, and actually, Ann Reynolds did a presentation on the Academic Environment and Technologies Committee at the All College Forum. So you could have gotten 2 birds with 1 stone. And I'm also going to rely on Candace to help me here because I was multitasking during that meeting. There was initially, the president gave his, whatever it was, words, whatever he calls that, his update from the president. There was obviously, as all of the meetings tend to be, there's always talk about COVID and the policies and whatnot. So there was discussion around a letter that was sent out to the colleges from the Secretary of Education, and I can't remember who the other person was. But anyways, it kind of encouraging colleges to let's start opening things up. Let's do things more in person. Let's get students back on campus doing things because, you know, this is starting to be very detrimental to students. And as I'm sure you're aware, a couple of days ago, President Baker, as of February 28th, there'll be no more mask mandates in the K through 12 sector. So what President Van der Hoeven did say was that he's not going to remove the mask mandate right now because he does not want to remove it and then have to reinstate it. But it is something that is probably going to be considered going forward. I know myself, having been doing some events on campus in person just the past couple of weeks since the semester started, anything we've had in person has been, well, definitely not as well attended as pre-COVID because we just don't have the number of students on campus, but well attended for the number of students we have on campus, and definitely something that students are looking for. So I'm actually looking to ramp up what we do on campus. You know, we like this month, I don't technically have any large events scheduled in person. We did just do a Valentine goodie bag thing on Wednesday, but because there's been such a good response to the in-person stuff, I'm going to start doing some smaller events. My CAPS group will just start hosting some things, kind of a make and take, come and, you know, do this or do that, and but not like big performers. I do have those coming up March, April, May. We've got some bigger events that are scheduled. So from that standpoint, I think we're starting to definitely move in that direction. So that was kind of what he spoke about. I want to say there was something else. I know he talked about the building, the auto tech building, and the fact that we have a lease for 6 more years, and what we would pay for the lease for the next 6 years. If we add another 20% on, we can purchase the building and own it, which is why we're looking to move forward. And not only is it an auto tech facility, but there's a huge empty warehouse part of it. And I can tell you from, you know, my experience, we definitely need storage space. We currently rent space at the old Simplex building. And like, I have a lot of my items there that, you know, from the big in-person events we would used to do, that I don't have room for, so it gets stored there. And it kind of gets lost there because I've been to that building a couple times and it's not a place I want to go to. So for us to have, you know, a warehouse that we could house things would be, you know, a wonderful thing. Because like HR, I don't think they're allowed to get rid of their records. So you think about, you know, the school's been around for 50 plus years. They've got a lot of paper. What else am I missing, Candace?
Only thing that there's going to be another MWCC baseball game. Jim's throwing out the first pitch.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the name. I can't think of the date.
It's
in
April 28th.
Yeah, and I asked, and I didn't mean to put him on the spot, about the chief diversity officer, and he said, soon.
Yep.
Soon. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, I think that's it.
Right. And then Anne, like I said, she gave the talked about the Academic Environment and Technologies Committee, and that I think they're working on a survey with I can't think of the name of the department, institutional research on campus, to develop a survey that will go out to, I think is it going out to employees and students? I don't recall.
That's a good question. I think it is. I believe it is.
Okay.
I can check on that.
Yeah, or Cody should check on that. He's on the committee. You should reach out to Ann Reynolds, Cody, and check on that. But that was something that they're looking to get feedback from people to see what direction we should be going in as far as technologies and the environment on campus. So that was pretty much it. And then the announcements, I gave the announcements for all of the student life events.
Oh, we forgot something major, Kathy. Leominster.
Oh yes, that's right. So Leominster, they re-signed the lease in Leominster, and they're going to do some major reconstruction there. So they're going to be making some major improvements, including like a real elevator. So there will be a time. I don't recall. I know there was, if they do it while we're in the building and working, it's going to take a long time. So I think they're talking about like not doing, I got the impression that that's what it was, that they were going to maybe not offer classes for a period of time so that they could just go in and do what they have to do.
Correct. You don't know this yet, so you guys are getting the tea early. There's not going to be any summer or cycle 1 classes face-to-face in Leominster. And the only reason you guys can't tell anyone yet because it hasn't gone out. The only reason I know that is there's going to be a memo that I have to look at that's going to go out today to the faculty because they need to choose their classes by the end of this month. But you guys know first, so wait until Monday to say anything. But yeah, it's going to happen. So all of the summer, there's not going to be any classes in cycle 1 in Leominster, face-to-face. Think you're good. That's it.
Yep, Cody.
Thank you. So quickly off the bat, one, Jim's pitching. Did you ask him if he's practiced? Has he practiced?
I have not.
Thing to bring up the next meeting.
I haven't asked him that, no.
So for the survey, I've actually gone through, there's a huge email chain I've been a part of, and the general consensus is going to be coming out this Thursday. It hasn't been solidified, but it's looking like it's coming out the 17th, and that will be open on website to everybody. The other question I had was for Kathy here. I'm going to be doing some extracurricular activities for the school that involves more knowledge on COVID and how the school's handling it. Any extra information you can give me? Was there like a story or he explained more points to opposing the mandate coming back off, or do you elaborate extra?
So in his reasoning behind not removing the mask mandate like right now is we're still kind of in a time period where, you know, our numbers could go back up as far as numbers of people getting COVID. So he didn't want to remove the mandate and then in a couple of weeks have to reinstate the mandate. So I think, and this is my own interpretation of what he said, is I think that he's definitely looking to remove the mandate, but doesn't want to do it too soon and have to backtrack.
So is that like the general feel that you got, or is it something he like said?
I don't know I think that he actually said that. I don't know. Candace,
okay.
Do you?
Yeah, I think he was, and this is once again, have not had this conversation with him, and I think we should. He actually, and he sort of, he either said this for this or something else. There's union issues that may come up if he removes the mandate, right? Because they bargained vaccines and, you know, mitigating factors. I don't know if he said it for this or not. So he actually, he could say, we want to remove, but then ASME might be like, no, I use ASME because I'm not ASME. They could say, you know, you bargain through this semester. So he has a couple of hoops he has to jump through. And I think he was being cautious because he had me in the back of his mind saying, I can't say anything wrong because Candace is going to jump on me. But faculty and students too, right? They said, I'm going to come on campus because I know there's going to be masks. Worst case scenario. And if that's changed, their learning environment changes, you know. So, and I don't know that to be the case, Cody. I'm purely speculating, but it felt like he was dancing around because of that. He wanted to look at the agreements to make sure that he wasn't violating any of the agreements, which include, you know, professional staff, your advisors. They wouldn't be wearing masks and you wouldn't be wearing masks, and then you're going to be in a closed space with them. So all that stuff needs to be sort of worked through, I think.
So, and me say this in the nicest possible way here. was Jim talking at you guys, or was there more discussion being had? I don't know if
I think
anybody
he-
chimed in.
I think he was announcing, I think the discussion is, he was saying, I know he's had this discussion at leadership team. But it was more of, this is what we're thinking. And I could be wrong, Kathy, I was interpreting this, but we haven't made any final decisions. And that felt like we weren't going to have a conversation there, but we will be having a conversation. And I know that at leadership team, they have been having conversations. So that's just, once again, my perspective. I don't know. I could be completely off.
Okay, thanks a bunch,
Yeah.
guys.
I think that's accurate. I'd forgotten the whole union conversation also. That was definitely part of the consideration. I'm not union, so I forget all about the union.
I live it every day, Kathy, 72 hours a day. Are there 72 hours a day? It feels like it sometimes.
All right. We'll move. Do we have like any other committees? Anything? Nothing. All right. So we move to Jason. He's not here today, so
Yeah,
Okay.
Jason, he may pop in towards the end. I don't know. Unfortunately, he has another meeting that happens the same time on Friday mornings. And I actually have not had any lengthy discussions with him this week about anything. So I cannot give you any updates from that perspective.
Candace.
So I've been talking the whole time, so I feel like I'm talking a lot. Just a little insight. The mask mandate did come up at our union meeting. And, you know, it's definitely something that is on people's minds. I think there is, and once again, this came up in the meeting. I don't know how people feel about it, but our K through 12 partners have had the mask mandate lifted, and they're wondering how that's going to affect them out. And it, once again, just stuff that people are thinking about. And as I was saying earlier, we're already picking our classes for the summer and for the fall. And a memo went out to all faculty that they want to be, and how you interpret this is completely up to you. They want to be as close to pre-pandemic with face-to-face classes as they can by the fall. And I said, what does that mean? And they were like, you know. I'm like, no, I don't. And it sort of, and as I dug deeper, it sort of depends on the area. Like the sciences have kind of been close to being back to pre-pandemic for a few semesters now. The other classes haven't. So we'll see. But you can tell your fellow students that there will be more face-to-face classes offered in the summer, as far as I know, as well as the fall. I think that's it.
All right, we'll move to old business then. Virtual and on-campus office coverage. Yep.
So Stephanie and I met Monday. We typically meet we usually meet Tuesday before the SGA meeting to go over the agenda, and she did update the list for the virtual coverage. And I know some of you have been doing the virtual coverage, but not posting it, not putting it on that schedule. And we need you to sign up in advance because that goes out to the students every Monday. So if you don't put your name on there, then people think, oh, there's nobody in the virtual office, so I'm not going to go. So when we looked at it that day, I think Cody's name was the only one that was on there. So like I know Ernest, a lot of times you will sit at the SGA booth and then also cover Kumo space, which is fine. But we need to have that on there in advance so that when that email goes out on Monday to all the students and they go, oh, I want to talk to somebody from the SGA, and they look at that and go, oh, well, there's nobody going to be in the virtual office and I can't come to campus. So they say, well, I'm not going to do that. So make sure, and everybody should be signing up for time in there, as well as the coming to campus if you can, and doing, you know, coverage at the booth. Chloe?
So like, just to clarify, is there like a minimum time limit that we have to spend either way? Because I spend time on campus and then I typically don't do virtual.
Right,
But-
so you should be doing, it should be about an hour a week, either place. And like I just said, you know, like Ernest does, what he's been doing when he's at the booth, he opens up his computer and is also in the virtual office, which is perfectly fine. And it's a good use of your time to cover both. So, you know, if you can do that, that's great. Obviously, you know, if you get really busy at the booth, you know, you might have to get out of the Kumo space room. Or, you know, for the most part, I don't think anybody has been in Kumo space for the office, and maybe occasionally, but part of that is because that schedule's going out and people aren't seeing any names on it. So, you know, if I'm a student and I want to talk to somebody from the SGA and I click on that link and I go, oh, there's nobody in there, I'm probably never going to go back and look again. So that calendar should be pretty full. And you know, and being in Kumo space is very easy to do if you're doing homework and you know you have some time and you know you just want to have it open on your computer. It's very easy to be in Kumo space. And you know, we've been using it now for about just over a year. I think we started it last spring around this time. And I don't ever see Kumo space going away. I want to always have this virtual option for students, but until, you know, we've got to be there, we've got to be present in it to make it work. And students have to be able to know that you're present in it by looking at a calendar and saying, oh, there's somebody in there. You know, and we're at this point, we're allowing people to pick and choose times versus we could at some point say, okay, the virtual office is going to be open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 12. And then we have to staff it during those times. That it doesn't always work for people. So we're letting people pick and choose the times they want to be there. So that's the big thing is, you know, I hate sending out that link every week and then there's nobody signed up for it.
All right. So we move to the SGA recruitment.
Do you want me to talk again? Now I'm gonna be like Candace. So again, in my meeting with Stephanie, we did work on, and actually I gotta pull up my calendar. Hang on. We did work out when SGA elections are going to be held. So, and I actually did create the SGA nomination form for next fall. The problem is we don't really want to put that out too soon because people are going to be confused because we're still recruiting for currently. So that's the big thing is we need to be recruiting for right now for this semester, but then we need to be thinking ahead to the next year. So we have SGA week, which we're going to talk about more, but that's March 7th through the 11th. And then SGA nominations for the fall will be due in on April 1st. And elections are going to happen April 18th through the 21st. So hang on, I get to the screens here. So those are the things that you have to be, thinking ahead. But so recruiting for right now, Ernest did a lot of recruiting at the expo, and Chloe. We've had Justina's been coming. Jen, I think they're both interested in joining, which is good. So
Hi,
they come to
Justina.
2 meetings. As I say, they come to 2 meetings, and then after that, petition to Stephanie to become a full-fledged member. And hey, the more people we have, the more people we have in the booth. So, and recruiting for the fall semester. So the other thing is, I know there was discussion at the last meeting, actually previous. So everyone was supposed to look at the new names on the SGA roster and reach out to some of those people that were recruited initially at the expo, and also reaching out to the different clubs that you're not a part of to first off tell them about SGA and let them know that, if they need anything, if they need funding, we've got money to give to these student organizations, but also to recruit for SGA membership. So I don't know if anybody has done any of that. I know Stephanie was supposed to have typed up a list. I don't know if that happened or not.
All right. Bi-weekly committee meeting. Kathy, do you know
Yep.
about that?
Yeah, so you guys were supposed to be meeting on the off week in Kumho Space at the same time at 10 o'clock on Fridays. And
Yeah,
I guess
right.
nobody showed up last week, because that's when you guys will do a lot of your brainstorming. So like as we go into SGA week, that's where you guys can spend your time brainstorming ideas for SGA week and then bring it back here. And if we have those meetings scheduled, then we know that when we have any funding requests or any constitution requests or new club requests, that we know that every other week those committees will be meeting. So
are we meeting the upcoming Friday?
yes.
All
So
right.
the weeks that you don't have SGA meetings, you guys should all be going into the Kumho Space office. And if you have any requests that have come in, that's when those committees will handle those. But then that's when you guys can actually do some of the heavy lifting on the brainstorming of things that need to get done.
Cody, you have something to say?
Before I do, I know Chloe, you had rocketed your hand up before I did. Did you have anything to say?
Oh, I was just gonna, Kathy kind of just took it all away, but that's totally fine. I was gonna say, I did show up, last week. I only stayed for like 15 minutes because nobody else was there, so I had left. But I just wanted to be clear that that was supposed to, I didn't know if we were just not meeting that week or if we were waiting. I don't know how that was working. So I was like, oh boy, here we go.
No, I pretty sure we just dropped the ball on that one and goofed the timing of that. So
Yeah.
I think not only should we all show up next week, hi guys, but have maybe Stephanie send her a quick email and let her know, like, hey, just send out a quick reminder, even have it on Google Docs, because I know a lot of phones who use Google Docs has an automatic feature that lets you know when a meeting's supposed to happen and automatically applies it to your schedule. So that could be something we
Yeah.
could do to just remind myself to head up to
Yeah.
these meetings.
Yeah.
Before we head up, I do want to bring back the previous business here. Kathy, I did send a request for promotional material for the boards in both the hallway and next to the cafeteria. I was wondering if you heard anything from them, because I haven't heard anything back. If
I
just
have
sent out
not.
the email. Okay.
Yeah. When did you contact them? After the last meeting?
Yeah, like literally right after.
Did you fill out the form that I sent
did.
you the link for? Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know what
I
didn't know what the normal process and waiting time is. I don't know if it's like a full on Google thing when they'll get to you when they get to you.
Yeah. No, usually I don't know. Did you put, when did you put the date needed?
By March 1st.
That's
we can
why
ha-
I didn't get back to you.
Okay, so I wanted to make sure we had enough time so it could be up and worked on and then lead into, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you might want to reach out to them again and just say, hey, just checking in on this.
1 second. And the last thing I want to bring up is, so we are heading closer to the SGA week, which is March 7th to 11th. While that is going to be more low key than the community day we have planned later, we do need to start having some bones on this thing. Because right now, if you asked me or literally anybody, hey, well, how's that going? I'll be like, I don't know, something. It's going. Wheels are moving downhill. So I would like to put some bones on it. I would also like to offer up and say, I would want to write up something to be posted on the site, if that's possible, Kathy. Or just when's the next time that's going to be shipped out, or can I just print it up whenever?
Yeah, well, this is where I think like you guys should really work heavily next Friday when you get together to come up with a plan for SGA week. And what you want to do, a proposal, and then write up something, or you could write something up on Involvement, a news story, and just say, hey, mark your calendars, these dates is SGA week, stay tuned for upcoming events, and then figure out what those events are going to be. And again, that's where you're going to do your heavy recruiting for the SGA elections in April.
So then with that said, I think that's a great idea. So next week, Chloe, Ernest, me should meet up and bring some ideas, hash out the bones of this thing, just get it set up and ready to go. We'll do that next week. For the writing bit, then I'll do the promotion material. Then I'm comfortable doing that. So then when do you want me to send to you the announcement of the announcement, as it were, right? To like, hey, mark your calendars. I can write something. The SGA is doing something coming up, and then I'll make another post later, giving the details after our meeting. So when do you want that one? I think that'll be better. As soon as
whenever.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whenever you want to do it, because I will tell you there haven't been any new news stories since last semester, so it's a good feature to use on there.
Okay. That takes care of me. Hey, Jennifer.
So in order for me to be a member, I wouldn't actually be attending my third meeting until March 11th. And you may need me ahead of that first for things. Am I able to work stuff to help out, even though I'm not fully a member as of yet? Like how, because if that's SGA week, you might need some help.
Hey, can we just, I don't know what the laws of smearing the restrictions are, but at the very least we could do like consulting, right? We just buy you a pack of gum and have you on as a consultant.
Because I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind going to the college and sitting and at the booth, because it'll give me some quiet away from my dogs trying to sit in my lap. I could work on my stuff, my homework or whatever, if people aren't talking to me, but I can give them my attention. And I wouldn't mind helping out with things when I have an opportunity.
Yeah, I also just wanted to add, would that actually be a problem? Because we do have Amy, who's not in SGA, sit at the SGA booth as well. Whereas Jennifer is in SGA, but she's not an elected member yet. I don't know how that works exactly.
So your I don't know that your bylaws allow for that, but I'll tell you this. SGA, so Amy sits out there we use the booth for other things other than SGA. So that's why Amy's out there kind of just to fill in when you guys aren't there, to help out. In light of the fact that Jen is a former SGA member, elected member, and I mean, Candace might correct me on this, I don't see a reason why you guys couldn't allow her to serve in that capacity, but still have to go through the process, so she wouldn't be a full voting member until she gets officially appointed. But I don't see a reason why she couldn't at least help out and volunteer. Do you see an issue with that, Candace?
Not at all. You're a student here, right?
Yeah.
Then you should be good.
I am taking classes, so yes.
You're good.
All right,
So
good. I just
Jennifer
wanted
can
to
lay
make sure I
tinsel?
put that out there.
How about Justina? Could Justina come to campus and help us lay down some tinsel, make some paper roses for us?
I think Justina's ready. This is your second meeting, right, Justina?
Third.
Is it her third? Oh, well, yeah. So you just need to send a letter to Stephanie, send her an email saying you would like to petition. Actually, you know, you could do it right now if you wanted to quickly type something up and send it to Ernest as the sitting president for the meeting, and then they could vote you in.
She could just send a quick email.
Yep, quick email to Ernest.
I want in. Oh. So with that said and stuff, we do need to start planning for how we want, because we talked about rewards and maybe having the booth open. Obviously, it's more stuff we're going to detail later, but like for that meeting, have a notebook, jot down some ideas, and we'll talk more about it then.
Yeah, and like I have, you know, like I said, I've got stuff to give away in my back room. So if you guys want to do giveaways, I've got things available. You know, we've got notebooks to give away. We've got, you know, other stuff.
Well, so my mom, very supportive. I tell her the happenings and going on at the campus. Brought up a good idea about if we can maybe do like a video campaign about your experiences as a student at Massachusetts. If you send a video of yourself in, we could play those videos if people send them in on the board. And if you get played on the board, or if we just send one in, we can get used like school supplies. Like you said, like you have the extra stuff that's laying around. We can hand that out to people who submit videos and play that during SGA week.
Yeah, yeah, you could absolutely do that. You could, SGA has money too. You could spend some of your money to purchase things to give away. You know, you could, students always love food.
No, isn't that considered like a raffle? I didn't know how.
No,
if you needed like
no, you
talk
can,
to somebody before we do anything like that.
No. So like if you guys can, you can, you know, buy things and give them away. In the past, SGA has bought earbuds that were logoed, and they gave them away first week of classes. Yeah, I forget. I know they've done other things in the past. I can't tell you. I just remember the earbuds because I still have a pair that I found. And those are always good, especially right now. I know I actually had a student, this was first week of classes, forgot her earbuds and had to attend a class and was trying to find a place she could attend a class and didn't have earbuds, so she didn't want to be a disturbance to anybody. So yeah, so you could do stuff like that. Like I said, you know, students love food. You know, in the past we've ordered cupcakes and given those away. That I wouldn't recommend unless they were individually packaged right now. Like we're not allowing bake sales of any type.
Yeah.
But prepackaged items you can do.
Okay.
The meeting you have on your off weeks for Kumo Space, that's where you're going to discuss that stuff. Am I allowed to go to that meeting as well? Okay. I'll need an email or something.
So if you go to the SGA organization on Involvement, there's a link to that Kumo Space area, that the SGA office, and you can just go in there. You may, if you haven't already set up your Kumo Space, you have to set it up and just you have to use your Mount student email because only students can get in there. That's restricted to mwcc.edu. which means Candace can't show up.
Is that, so I had one before. Did it change?
Nope, no, yeah, it's the same one. Yeah, it's
Okay.
the same one that we used previously that we
Okay.
set up last year. Yep.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about me showing up at extra Zoom meetings. No. Mm-mm.
I was also
But I
can
love
actually get in
listening.
there. I can crash your meetings though, because I have a student account that was made specifically for that.
this is also a great potential opportunity. If we wanted to discuss something that we know Candace wouldn't like or approve, we could just have it on Kumo Space.
Hey, what is this? Actually, I have a student email, I think, so I can see, but I don't have a student account because actually I may, because I've taken classes here before. Watch out.
Oh, you still have your student email?
Well, I take like, I get free classes because I work here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they send it through that. So I may show, no, I'm really not going to show up. Trust me. It's not going to happen.
Did you get the email, Ernest? I saw Justina sent it.
Yep. All right. So we move ahead and elect Justina. All right. Justina, do you mind showing your face? Turn your camera on. Hi. All right. So I'll make a motion. Can I make a motion? I make a motion to elect Justina as a
You
member
can
of SGA.
entertain a motion, Ernest. You can entertain a motion from someone.
Yeah, can someone make a motion?
So I move to enable Justina to join us on the SGA.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor to approve?
I
Justina.
Aye.
All right. All those are opposed. All right. Justina is now our SGA member.
yeah.
Hey
Yay!
guys, I can talk now.
You can vote too.
And I can raise my hand.
It was unanimous. You could tell your kids, tell your parents.
Yeah, well, I can tell my kids.
You'll notice that Jen didn't wait till, she didn't say she wasn't an
She's
elected
like me, she's
member.
like, I can't do it, but I want to. But now I can. I just had my video on because I have my brother and my son here. I'm making my brother listen too.
Well, congratulations. I'm so happy to add another family.
Thanks, guys. Can't wait to tell Steph.
I know, huh?
Well, I'm gonna go back to invisible again. But thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. So now we move on to marketing request. Bulletin board marketing request, Cody. Oh,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we covered that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
send another email and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
see where they're at.
new business discussion
Yeah.
regarding the student organization.
Yep. So I'm gonna, I know the last meeting you guys voted to go ahead and do this on a temporary measure. What I did is I'm gonna share my screen. I typed up, I just wanted to, before I send it out officially, I wanted to type up what that would look like and share it with you guys. Well, I'll just kind of go through it and then you'll catch on to those that weren't here. So right now we have registered student organizations, which is every student organization, and they all follow the same policies. They have the same structure and they follow the same policies as far as funding and having an advisor and what they can and cannot do. So with the tiered organizations, it'll be different. So all organizations will have to have an advisor that's approved through Jason's office or their designee, that's me. They have to maintain their involvement page, and they would be required to attend any recruiting events hosted by the Student Life Office. So that would be the expos, so that they would have a presence there. Then tier 1 would be what I'm suggesting we call permanent student organizations, PSO, and that includes student government, the CATS, the Mouse Observer, which is the student newspaper, and esports. Originally, when we talked about this 2 weeks ago, esports wasn't in there, but the more I thought about it, and I had a conversation with Stephanie, we feel that esports should be there because esports, it's something that's new, but they more are just an organization on campus. So they're not like a regular registered student org. I made them do a registered student org and have officers, but that's not really the right structure for them. So that's why these 4 are in that category. So their officer structure be determined by the organization. So SGA, you've got your 4 executive officers in your trustee. Where CATS, their structure doesn't make sense for them to have officers. They really need event coordinators. So it doesn't make sense to have president, treasurer, secretary, and vice president, because their treasurer, they don't request funding like every other organization does. It just, they have an account that's given and money given to them. It just comes out of my office. So it doesn't make sense for them to have those same officers. Mon Observer, they have their editor, assistant editor, again, and they don't even use any money that comes from the Student Life Office. They're self-funded. And then esports, like I just said, they're just esports. Officer requirements, I think any officers they do have, or whatever that may look like, should still hold a 2.0 GPA. I would like to suggest that maybe the number of credits would be determined by the organization. So like if an organization has somebody that's only taking 3 or 4 credits, if they would like to be in a role, whatever that role is, they could do that. Again, that's something you guys can talk about. Funding, they're either self-sustained or it comes to the Student Life Office. And then the benefits, they can reserve rooms for meetings and events, they can host trips and events, and they can reserve space for tabling and recruiting. So pretty much everything that is allowed right now. Tier 2 is all your registered student organizations, which is what the structure is right now for everybody. So nothing would change for them. They would have everything that they currently have would stay the same. And I would actually have to add in here that they would need to attend, they would also have to attend any training that is conducted. So I would add that in. So nothing changes for RSOs. And then tier 3 would be what I want to call it affiliate student organization. And let me change this. ASO. And that would they would have to have their advisor, like every other organization, and then their requirements would be they'd have to have students interested in being an organized body. They would not have any officers. They might have an account through the Student Life Office. So because I foresee organizations going from RSO to ASO depending on where they are. So like, for instance, the Veterans and Allies, they've typically been in a registered student organization. Right now, they're having trouble finding people that want to serve as officers, but they have veterans that want to get together and do things and just connect. So they would fall in the ASO category. They still have an account and they have money in that account, and that money would stay there that was earned, that rolls over from year to year, but they don't have to have officers. So they might have that money, but they wouldn't be able to request the money from SGA. They wouldn't be able to earn any money, and they wouldn't be able to spend any money. So that account would just sit there if anybody was an ASO. Benefits, they could reserve rooms for meetings. They could reserve space for tabling, recruiting, but they would not be able to host any trips or events. So that would be the big difference. And I see the reason, you know, I'm looking to do this, especially this tier 3, is because we have a number of student organizations that have been around and we've been losing some. A number of them are currently inactive because they just don't have people that are interested, and that's fine. If an organization wants to be inactive for a while, they can do that. They can be inactive according to your constitution. An organization can be inactive for 4 semesters before they have to be disbanded. But we can have this middle of the road where they can be an affiliate organization and still be active, but not have to have officers, but they can still get together, they can still meet, they can still do things on campus within, you know, among themselves. So if you have an organization that all they want to do is get together and talk about issues, but not have any events and not have any officers, that's fine. They could recruit. For instance, for a while we had a philosophy club. They didn't want to do all these other things. They just wanted to get together and talk about philosophical issues. So they ended up disbanding because they couldn't meet all those requirements. So thoughts? Cody?
Yeah. So me and you have talked about this a bunch, and a lot of us have, you know, rubbed elbows over experience looking at this thing and know exactly what it means. Is there plans or something in mind for like the pathways to jump between the tiers? Because if someone's starting here and they do a little bit, they're like, okay, how do I get this? I would like to have that like in the back of their mind of, all right, if I do want to go to next year, here's an easy way to transition this club, other than just saying a checklist. Because it says what it needs to do, but that may be confusing for someone who's not in the bubble.
So I'm not sure if I totally understand. So, and as you're saying that, as I'm thinking about this, I'm realizing some of what I have here. I actually typed this up this morning. I'm missing some of the information. So, like an RSO would also have a requirement for a constitution, but where an ASO wouldn't be required to have a constitution. So, say an organization wants to start as an ASO, and this is actually something that would be. We might want to change our whole process on how to petition as a student organization. So every student organization starts as an ASO. They just get together and they start meeting, and then they go, oh, you know what? We really want to be able to fundraise and do events. So now we want to petition to be an RSO. So that would be kind of so yes, they could do that. But then, like I said, clubs could easily, I don't know that there would be any process for them to go back and forth between the two, RSO and ASO, other than, okay, you know what, right now we don't have enough students that want to be officers, so we're just going to become an ASO for this semester or this academic year. And then, oh, next year we've got officers, we've already got a constitution in place, so now we move back to RSO. That's how I envision it, so that it's not a big, it's not a burden to go back and forth between the two. It can be very flexible and they can go back and forth as much as they want. But making an ASO that's the first step. And a club may, or a student organization may start knowing they want to be an RSO. So like right now, the way a student organization is petitions to start is, I've always thought the process was a little bizarre. And this would alleviate that bizarreness, because right now, in order to petition to be a new organization, they have to meet and develop a constitution and submit that to the SGA before they can be voted on as a student organization. Whereas if we could just petition to say, we want to be a student organization, and very simple, this is what we want to do, we've got X amount of signatures, students that think we should do it, then, okay, they're an ASO. And then maybe they get together and now they're official, and now they can meet. And if they want to be an RSO, they write up a constitution and elect their officers. And then they re-petition the SGA to approve their constitution.
So my entire point of my question and the framework I'm coming from here is I'm someone who's just new to campus, knows nothing about this. You talk to me about the RSO, I don't even know what an acronym means. And I joined the club and we agreed to. How easy is it to then transfer into that? I mean, like, not in the sense of like, here's exactly what you need to do, but in terms of, do they have a point of, do they talk to you if they want this? Do they have a way to prepare themselves to draft that constitution to meet those requirements themselves? It's all on them. They just have to approach with materials ready. Do they have a way to handhold through the process to get them where they need to be?
Yes, so we have, right now, we have a process that they follow. I have a form that they complete when they want to petition to be a student organization. So what we would do is change that up so that that process, so the original request would just be to be an affiliate student organization. And then they get approved by the SGA. Now they're an affiliate student organization. I create a space for them in an uninvolved mount, and they have their advisor, and they're allowed to do, X, Y, and Z. And then if they choose to move to RSO, we'll have another form. Okay, complete this. And they would just, here's the process if you want to be an RSO, which literally would just require them to create a constitution, which I send them a draft. This is a sample, you fill in the blanks. And then you elect your officers, you send that constitution to the SGA, say, we would now like the SGA to approve this constitution. Okay, now they're an RSO. Once they're an RSO, if in 2 semesters they decide, we're going to be an ASO because we don't have people to be an officer, they can do that. It doesn't require anything. All they do is say, yeah, we're going to be an ASO right now. And, oh, now we have officers. Okay, we're going to go back to an RSO. So that would be a simple back and forth without any, we wouldn't have to go through the SGA. They would just determine, once they've been an established RSO, they can go back and forth between RSO and ASO.
Oh, okay. That's perfectly fine. I was just making sure that the onus wasn't entirely on this new club to, meet the requirements with the,
Nope.
You said you talk to them, you send them a sample, and okay.
Yep. Yeah. I walk them through the process. So I would go and I would change the whole process for how a student organization is started. And technically it'll be much easier because right now, like I said, they have to create a constitution. They haven't even been approved yet they got to write a constitution to then get approved. To me, that's just backwards. Unless Candace wants to disagree on that.
No, this is great. I mean, sometimes people don't want to start a club because it is such a heavy lift. But if I want to talk about sports, which is not esports, just being able to sit around and then it builds and builds. Okay, now it's a club. It's not an affiliate club. And okay, we have all these people super excited. Let's put together our rules, So I agree. This is great.
Yeah. So one of the benefits I find too is I've had students come to me and they want to start, say, like a gaming club or a chess club, and they're like, but I don't want to do all of this because like the RSOs are required to do community service, they're required to do fundraising. They don't want to have to do all that. They just want to get together and talk, and we can't. But by having this level, then they're allowed to be advertised, so they can gain support. And like Candace said, oh, now you've got 20 people and they wanted to talk about sports. Oh, now they actually want to go on trips and maybe go to some Woo Sox games. So now they want to become an RSO because they want to actually do something. But it is a great way that we can get just more student organizations on campus and just have the, if they just want to meet informally, but they want to be able to advertise and say, hey, we've got a bunch of people that want to talk about, X, Y, and Z.
Do affiliates still need an advisor to attend meetings?
So advisors aren't required to attend a meeting with any RSO unless they are voting for officers. So the advisor is there more to kind of say, yeah, okay, yeah, you can do this, but you can't do that. So an advisor doesn't have to attend any meetings. Obviously, usually if an advisor is going to an advisor club, it's because they have some sort of an interest. So if we had a New England sports club, Candace might want to be the advisor because she likes New England sports. So she might want to attend the meetings because they're going to talk about sports. But
Yeah.
that person, so that person also be that advisor would kind of be their go-to if they had questions, or even, you know, to be able to say, oh, well, you guys want to start going on trips, so then, you know, direct them in what we need to do next and work with me.
Yeah, but I think this is an amazing thing that you put together. I love the affiliate names and the ASL acronyms. It's all very official, very clean, and it's definitely miles better than the previous system, especially with how things are right now. This is great.
Yeah. So are you guys okay with me? I'm going to clean this up a bit just because I do want to be clearer that the RSOs do have to attend any trainings, have a constitution. I forgot to add that in here. But I'd like to be able to send this out in my email on Monday that go to the current RSOs. I just want SGA approval to say, yep, that looks good.
Yeah, it's definitely got my thumbs up. It's I really love this as an idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Look at that. Justina's gone now. She couldn't even vote.
She can send it in by mail. We'll do a mail-in ballot.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is actually going to be really good for student organizations. I think COVID has really caused an issue for student organizations, and this is going to be a way that we can start to reinvigorate them. The few advisors I've talked to are like, yes, please, let's do this, because we want to be an organization, but we just don't have people that want to be officers.
So are we gonna vote on it?
If you want to vote to go ahead and let me send this out as, you know, that the framework works for you guys. And again, this is the trial for this semester. If we want to do a complete change, it'll mean changing up the bylaws at some point. But I think we should test it out this semester, maybe even in the fall. But I think it's going to work.
All right. Can I have a motion to enact tiered student organization?
I want to make the motion to enable Kathy to send out the tiered constitution for clubs.
Can someone second it?
Second.
Any discussions? All those in favor to approve?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion has passed.
Yay. Finally get some new clubs on campus.
Yeah.
Hopefully lot ones that do more bake sales and free stuff.
No
Tony.
bake sales.
I'm recruiting for the Human Service Club. You interested?
do I have to do like door dashes? Is that what it is?
Not yet.
That was
Okay.
run, who was that run by years ago in 2015, 16?
DoorDash?
No, the Human Service Club. I don't care about DoorDash. I don't even have that where I am.
So we've had a few presidents. 15, maybe
That was
Cassie.
Cassie.
It was Cassie.
It
Yeah.
was Cassie.
Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I remember there was I thought it was an English teacher I can't remember her last name though, because I
Oh,
was
as far as an
actually,
advisor.
yeah.
No, it was myself and
Jamie
Sheila
Ford.
Murphy were we've been the advisors for the past, what, 10 years?
Yeah, as long as I've been around.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in something. I just don't remember when.
You would remember me, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would. You're amazing.
Oh, I know what you were in. You were in the Active Minds Club.
Oh,
No.
right. Was
Prof-
it-
Professor Gearing is coming to mind. I don't know if that's the right
Oh.
name.
She was the advisor before me and Sheila, so that was before 2000. Well, was it? I don't know.
We'll just not discuss when that was.
Yeah. I don't know.
I was the president.
Speaking of supporting clubs here, when those jerseys coming in, Kathy? Are they still in the docket?
So I emailed my guy. Because of the holidays, he forgot about it. I was thinking about that. I'm going to email him again because I emailed him the end of last week. He's like, oh, I forgot. He had to change up the logo because see the student government association behind Cody, it was too long. So he put the mountain lion and student above government association. So it's like this, because when he made it this long, you can only make it so high so you couldn't read it. So he sent it to me. I said, yeah, it's good. That was the end of last week. So I will check again. And then I'll have to add some more for Justina and Jen. But yes, those are still coming. So, and if you haven't already signed up, we have leadership leading confidently at 1 o'clock today, the first in a 3-part series with Allie Fox. You should come. It's going to be amazing if you're available. Definitely you want to show up to that. So yeah, I forget today is what is today? Today is
February 11th.
Yeah, I know.
Friday.
I'm looking at the topic. The topic though, lead confidently. Oh, building confidence is today's topic. And then in 2 weeks, it's communicating confidence, and in 2 weeks after that, it's lead confidently. So Allie, actually, for those of you that know Jason Lavasser, Allie works with Jason. She's part of the Rockstar Project. So she will be amazing. And Monday night, 7 o'clock, we have a Valentine networking social on Zoom with Jason Lavasser. He is gonna come and have fun, so you definitely want to come to that. We're just gonna have fun, hang out, play some games, do some networking. It's kind of promoting it as a get to know each other.
So, Kathy, that type of networking is called dating, right?
No, we're not dating. No, we're just, this is for anybody, I don't need a date.
Valentine's Day is dating if you're networking.
Yeah, no. We're just gonna have fun. Matter of fact, did any of you, I don't think if you came to yesterday's DJ Lee, how hip hop got to the suburbs, DJ might come to Monday night.
Oh, just
So.
to hang out and do speed dating, or do a he's gonna do a set?
Just to have fun, and chat with everybody. So DJ was a lot of fun. We're gonna get the recording from yesterday too. So if you missed yesterday's workshop, you'll get to see the recording if you want. But it was good. We actually had like 42 people on that call yesterday.
Holy crap!
Yeah, well, it was a number of other schools. And same with today. I have 25 people signed up for today just from Mount Wachusett, but this is with a bunch of the other community colleges. So it could be a huge crew today.
That's so uplifting. I remember we get like double digits for some events. That would be like, oh my God, we're in multiple hand territory.
Yes. Yep. So I'm excited about today. So anyway, so I'm done talking, and I know we've been here, what, hour and a half?
Yeah, any announcement? All right, so the next SGA meeting will be scheduled for February 25th, 10 a.m. And we'll be having our meeting on next week Friday too. So don't forget about that. And so I'll call the meeting to adjourn at 11:28 a.m. Yeah. So
Everyone have a great weekend.